Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to show you step by step on how to build your own chatbot with Django. Let us look at what you are going to build. We are going to build this. It has authentication. You will be able to also save your chat sessions and then load them later on if you want to. And so let me just log in and then show you all the features that this thing has to offer. I can also choose to register, but I'm already a member, so I'll log in. And so this is the interface for our chatbot. So let me just say, hello, how are you? And press enter. Our chatbot has responded, I'm good, thank you, how are you? Can also say I'm also good, but I want to now go ahead and then ask my question. So explain the theory of relativity to a 10-year-old. And let's see. Okay, quickly the response has come. So Albert Einstein's theory of relativity is a theory that explains, and now that's the answer. So let's see. You see the beautiful pop-ups, the chat style. Everything was built completely by me using Tailwind CSS, and then very soon you have access to all of these files and then build your own chatbots. So it's completely free to use. You are free to use the templates in your own project, put it on your portfolio. All that you need to do is to give me some credit where the credit is due. So I can come up here and then choose to save this chat. It appears nothing has happened because everything that we are doing is now vanished. But when we go to recent chats, you will see that it is there. These are some of the chats I've saved in the past. So I can choose to even delete them. Let me delete this one. So this one that says, hello, how are you? It automatically picks the first message that was sent to the bot to name the chat session. So I was just trying to mimic how the chatbots have been doing, the BARD and GPT have been doing. But now if I click on this one, I'm able to load the message from that old chat, and then I can continue the chat from here also. Or I can equally, let me say, now I've loaded it, but let me just tweak the URL small here and then just go to chatbot so that I get a new one, a new chat. I think yes, so that one will give me a new chat and I can start a chat. Maybe explain how the sun works. Press enter. And then it starts talking about the sun is a star located, blah, 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 blah. I can choose to save this chart also. So when I go to recent chart, it says, okay, it says trying to use the old one, but if I click on this, it should load the chart for me. And then you see that it's explaining how the sun works and all that. They have all been added to it. So this is what we are going to build. If you like it, just smash the like button and be sure to subscribe if already not done so also. And then jump into the next session where we start building this amazing app from complete scratch. Alright, so I've opened my terminal in the directory where I want to create my project. So I'll go ahead and activate my virtual environment. And then we'll be using the OpenAI API for it. So let's just even install it before. So pip install. I already have Django, so I'll install OpenAI. But if you don't have Django, you can add it to it like this. I already have Django, so I will only install the OpenAI. Okay, let me clear out of it. And then let's create a Django project. So Django-admin start project. I'll call it a Django chatbot. So Django underscore chatbot. And we know that this one is created because if we list, you see that it's part of the files that are over there. So what we want to do is to cd into that particular directory, code dots to open Visual Studio Code in that directory. That will be the editor I'll be using in this video, but you can use any editor of your choice as long as you know your way around it. Okay, and then we'll come back and run our server very soon, but if you scroll down to the description, you get the link to the templates or the starter files, which should take you to this GitHub page. If you click on that link, you come to this GitHub page where I have my Django template stored for tutorials on this channel. And what you are looking for is the chatbot template. This one, it contains the HTML files and the CSS file, and then an images directory containing 2 images. And you can also find the Django intro snippet. If you don't understand why I type source to activate my virtual environment, I explained everything in an earlier video, and it's all compiled into this Django intro snippet.pdf. You can check that one also. Okay, so back to Visual Studio Code. Now, after downloading the templates, you get access to files like this. So I'll just have to copy all of them and then bring them into my copy folder. Yes, bring them all in here. And now let's go ahead and then create one app. So Python manage.py start app, and we will call the name of the app chat. Okay, so back inside VS Code, you see that the chat is created over there. Let's go ahead, create a new directory called static where I'll restore all our static files. So inside static, I'll move this style.css, and then I'll move the 2 images also. We'll just be using one app, so I can delete this images directory. And then inside the same chat, we have to create another folder for the template. So let me also copy all the templates and then put them in there. Okay, that's great. Now we need to register our app with our project. So come down here and then to chat.apps.chat config. Yes, this one should do. Let me try and increase the size small so that you can see. I think 25 should do. Okay. Now, first things first, let us run our server to see if everything is going on well. So Python manage.py run server. Okay, you can see it says we have 18 applied migrations. You apply them later, but this window tells us that the installation works successfully, and that's good. So now let's come into our Django project urls.py file, import include here, and then link the paths inside the base, the chat app. So path, all the path that goes to the empty page, we want to include chat.urls. Okay, that's all we have to do at this point. And then now inside our chat app, we have to create that urls.py file, inside of which we will just say from Django, not Django, from Django.urls, we want to import path and then declare our URL patterns. So URL patterns. The first path that we will create will be the path. We will not be working on the home page at the beginning. So let's first create our chatbot path, and then that one will link to views. But we have to also import the views. We will import it very soon. I will call it chatbot views.chatbot, and then the name also is chatbot. Okay, so from dot we have to import views and then put a comma at the side. Let's save this one, come into views.py file and then define the chatbot. So that's define chatbot request, and this one will return render passing request, and the name of the template is index.html, and that is all we have to do. So let's check if our server is running. Okay, it has broken. Let's bring it back. Now we can go back to, and when we refresh, we should get an error, but that is fine. If we go to /chatbot, it should lead us to this page, and this is all we need. But because we have not configured our static files, it shouldn't show nicely like we saw it in the demo. So let's come here, and then at the top here, let's load static. And then in here, this is the favicon, so let's just configure it correctly. Static. And then in here is chatbot.jpg because that's because it's inside static here. And so in the same manner, we have to also configure the CSS file. So this one will be style.css. Okay. Now let's come back to our page, a hot reload, and then it comes out nicely. But let's also add the images for them to show here properly. So this one, you can just copy this, and when you scroll down, where you see this, replace it with a chatbot image, and I think there's another one where the chats are here, and there's one for the user also. This one, it should be user.jpg user. Okay, let's come back, hot reload, and then now all the images are showing correctly. So let us start by writing the JavaScript file. Also, there will be a JavaScript file because we have to get a way of submitting the form data. This is a form in here. We have to get a way of submitting the form data without reloading the page and then send it to Django. So through some kind of local API, send it to Django, and then Django will now take it, process it, and then bring back the response. So let's define our CSRF token here. CSRF underscore token. Okay, just to be safe. So we want to include a JavaScript file, script, no script, one with the source. And then but the static file will be called script.js. Okay, so we can go into our static directory, new file, script.js. And then first things first, let us now try and then get the form data. But if I put this index file here side by side, that will not really help. That will not really help. Okay. But we first have to get this form data here from this side using the IDs. So that is what we are getting. Let's get it. User message is the message that the user types in here. So const user message, that one should be equal to document.getElement by ID, and then the ID of that one is message. We also need to get the chat container because we'll be using it, so chat container, and then the ID of that one is chat container. We also need to get the chat form itself. So the chat form, that is the form itself. And then the ID of that one is also chat form. Okay. And you can verify them all from here. So this is the message that we are getting. And then the chat form itself is this form here. And then the other one that we also got is the chat container, which is up here with the ID of chat container, where we inject the chat. So after we get it like this, we have to create the handle submit function. So const handle submit to handle the submission of the form, which will now be equal to, let's make it an async function because we will be calling, we'll be fetching something from, we're making a post request inside it, so it should be an async function. And then in here we pass the event, and then our arrow comes in. Okay. And then event dot prevent default to prevent the default behavior when the form is submitted, that is the reload. And then we because don't want to reload the page, we want to keep it. We want to reload, the chat will all go away. And then we also get the user prompt. So const user prompt, which should be equal to user message dot value. Okay, not this one dot value. Okay. And then if the user has not typed anything, we just want to return. So if user prompt dot trim, we trim it, and then okay, that we have to call it. If it's empty, then we just have to return. So if it is an empty string, then we will return. Other than that, then we will continue with our work. So for now, let's just try and then log it to the console. So log, and then let's say message, which should now be equal to the user prompt. Okay, let's verify our server is running. It's running. And then let me do a hot reload just to see that everything is working fine. Bring up my console. By the way, this is fully responsive also. And then let me type in something here, hello, for now. Okay, we have not called the submit. We have not, just this function, but you have to call it on the chat form that if it's submitted, you should do that. So chat form dot add event listener, and then this listener that we are adding is the submit listener. And when it is submitted, what we want to do is to call the handle submit. Yes, this one should do. So now back here, I think I will have to reload. So if I type in hello and submit, I see that the message hello has been displayed here. So it says here that message is hello, which is what we are looking for. Okay. So now let's come back. And then now that we know that we have the message showing, let's see what we have to do. When the message is sent, what we do is that we will take this message and then create a user chat object like this chat here, the user chat here. And so let's work around that one. Come into inside index.html, and where you see the user message, copy all that div. So we want to copy all of this, and then inside our JavaScript file at the top, we want to so let's just type const, and then this one will be user chat div, and we'll set that one, it's an arrow function, so it will take in data, and then we will just say return, and then inside this backticks, we want to return the whole HTML like this. Okay, this space is unnecessary. And then inside this place, we can just now get rid of this. And then where I have a few questions for you, we pass in the data. Okay, so this one will return this for us. We work on this static because this is not how it will show. We work on it. Let's even check how it shows and then quickly work on that one. So inside elements, that's where we will find it. So we can inspect this particular chart. See that this is the URL we have to copy. We have to just make it something like this. Okay, maybe the view page source will work better. So let me come here, looking for that of the user. Okay, so just copy this SRC here. Let's close out of this and then replace it here. Okay, so this one should work. And now when we get the user message, what we want to do is to create a chat div like this and then insert it into the chat container. So that is what we are doing now. And that will be chat container dot inner HTML plus equal to, and then we can call the user chat div here, and as the message we pass in the user prompt. Oh, I misspelled prompt, so please, that should do. This one too should be user prompt and then user prompt. Yes. Now let's come back. What reload should do, come to our console, so because we want to see what is also going on. And then let me type in here hello. Now you see that the user chat has been created here. Hello, hello, how are you? That one too has been created here. So that's great. We have this one working now. But you could see that anytime I have to press on this send button before I can send it. So let's just bind this chat form submission also to the enter key so that you can just press the enter key for it to work. So that one will be chat form dot add event listener again. And by this event listener will be a key app event listener. So key app. And then when that happens, what we want to do is get the event, and then if event, so we want to check if the event that was the key code equal to 13, that's the enter key, then we call the handle submit and then pass in event. Okay, so this one should work. When we press the enter key, it should submit the form for us. So let's just try it out. What reload? Hello. Okay. It is working, but we just also after that we have to clear the div. It's working. Okay. But we will clear the div later on, don't worry. Or maybe let's just do it now. So after this one, we just have to say user message dot value should be an empty string. And now let's see how it goes. So hello, and now it goes, and then the entry is cleared. Okay, so now we have the users on working now. Let's see how we will send a message to Django and then get a response also from Django. So let's work on that one next. We will have to pass fetch, and that's the reason why we put the async over there. And so we will now fetch. We will have to create a URL. Now we have not created it, but let me type it in manually. We'll create the URL very soon. So that should be HTTP, no, sorry, in a string. http:// and then that'll be 127.0.0.1 / get underscore chatbots underscore response. And then, sorry, when we get that, what we say, the method now should be post. Oh, not this one. Post, yes. And then the headers that we want to also pass on this pop-up, what is it doing? The headers is content type, which will be application/x www-form-URL encoded. So URL encoded. And then we will also pass in the body. So the body that we are sending over there is, new URL search params, and then inside of it you pass, if you have worked with Django before, you know that whenever we are using the post, we have to have a CSRF token. Other than that, to throw a CSRF error. So I'll skip that one for now, and I'll let you know. So when we get the error, now we're coming back and then fix it. So, but apart from the CSRF token, the message that you also want to send is the user prompt. Okay, so that should do for now. And then we just call the .then. So when that one is done, we get a response, and then we can say response.json to get a JSON. And then we will call the then again .then, say data, then we come to const response should be equal to data.response. So we are getting the response, and then we can now also try and then console log the response and see. So we can just say response from Django, and then response. So that should do for now, but let's come and then create this URL endpoint inside Django. So inside our urls.py file, let's add one more URL here, which should be the same name. So let me just get it from here. Okay. So here, let me just duplicate this guy. So we get chatbot response, and then it will point to the view of also get chatbot response, and then the URL, the name also should be the same thing. Okay, let me wrap it up. And so inside our view, you have to now come and create this chatbot response. So define the chatbot response, pass in request, and then we say if request dot method is equal to post, then the user underscore message, that's the message coming from the user, should be equal to request dot post dot get. We want to get the title message, because that is what we are passing in here. You see a message, this is what we want to get, which is also equal to the user prompt. Okay, so after we get that one, we want to generate let's say a fake response or something like that. So chatbot response, so chatbot response, which will later connect to the API, OpenAI API. Now should be an F string and say reply from backend, and then I will say okay, reply from backend. Let's just say message was received successfully. Message was received successfully. And then we will return this as a JSON response. So return JSON response. And then in here we will say, response should be chatbot response. And we are saying response over here because that's how we are getting it here. So the response.json. So let's import the JSON response. That should be from Django.http. We want to import JSON response. Our server should be, okay, it's reloading. Our server has reloaded, so let's just try it out and see if it will work. Let me clear out and even reload. So if I say hello, it says uncaught error at this place, post is not defined. Let's go ahead and then fix it. That will be inside the script.js. Okay, this post should be a string. Sorry about that, it should be a string. And then let's refresh it and see. Come back to our console. Okay, it says error connection refused. So it's most probably due to this. If we come back, where's our console? Connection refused. Most probably is because of the CSRF token that we did not set. So let's go back and then set our CSRF token. Here, the way we get, in Django, you can just type the CSRF token, then it will just get it for us. But we have to do it a little different in JavaScript. We have to get the CSRF token from the cookie. So I can say function. Get CSRF token. And then in here, I will say function get cookie, and then I'll pass in the name. I say const value should be equal to this comma, then space $, and then we want to get document.cookie. After we get that one, we can also say the path. So the const path should be equal to value dot split, and I want to split it on this one. So just bring our backticks again, another space, the dollar symbol, and I want to split it on the name. Okay, and then we check if path, okay, because I'm transitioning between path and JavaScript, I forgot to bring the bracket. So if path dot length is 2, then we want to return paths dot pop dot this pop-outs dot split, and want to split it on the semicolon, and then lastly dot shift. This one should get us the CSRF token, and so all that we have to do to get the token, so okay, this one should be from cookie, get CSRF token from cookie, or cookie data, something like that. And then now we have to now get the CSRF token, so get CSRF token. And then this one now will be, we can call it CSRF underscore token, and that should be equal to get cookie, this get cookie function that we wrote over here, and then inside we pass CSRF token. This should get us the CSRF token, and so we can now pass it inside this params here by saying CSRF middleware token, and that should be equal to CSRF underscore token. Okay, so this one should do. Let's come back, a hot reload, and then see. So hello, it is still saying that the connection was refused. Okay, I think here we forgot to add the port 8000. So just add the port 8000 that Django is running on, and then let's see. So hello, and it's still saying something. This is forbidden. Which one is that? Console again. The fetch. Okay, so I found a fix there. The only problem was that I was supposed to add an equal sign after this name here for the splitting. So when I come back, refresh, just type hello, and it says response from Django, reply from Backend. A message was received successfully, which is just the message that we typed inside our views.py here. Okay, we are also console logging something from there. That's why I think this part should go. Okay. So now that we have this response from the backend, we can also, just like we created a chat of this chat for the user, you can create one equally for the bot also. So let's do that one quickly. We will again come inside index.html where you see the AI message here. Copy this div, come back into script, and then we will repeat this function also. So this one will be AI chat div, and then we will replace this side with the content we copied, and then this one should be src. The source should be chat-bots. Okay, and then instead of how may I help you, we will pass in the data. Okay, that looks great. So after console logging the response, we can once again say chat container dot inner html class equal to AI chat div, and then we pass in the response. Okay, so let's try it out and see. Hot reload. Hello. And then now we immediately see the reply from the backend, and that one is also rendered successfully. Okay, so that I think should be it for this JavaScript backend. I don't think there's so much more that we have to do here. Yes, so now we can move ahead and inside Django and then work around how we will get the actual message from OpenAI to our chatbot. But the script.js file, it's not part of the starter files, but in case you are finding any difficulty, you can find it inside the link to the source code. It should be available for you to use. Okay, so now back inside views.py, let's also define our models now so that so the models that we will use, that will just be two of them, but let's make some imports up here. So we'll use the user object. So from user model, from Django.contrib.auth.models, we want to import user, and then we also want to import UUID. Okay, the first model that we'll create is called session. So class session, use that one. So like if we want to mimic what as a Google Bard does, or ChatGPT, so that they save the chats, we will use an idea of a session to try and do that. So you get to appreciate it when we get to that side. So model dot model, not this one, dot model. And this will be the fields. There will be an ID field which will be equal to models.uuid field. The default should be uuid.uuid4. This one should be the primary key. So let's set it as the primary key to be true. Okay, let me close out from here. And then the next one that we will need is the titles of the session. So we call it title, which is called models.character field. And then what this one will be, max length. You can put anything, but let me put in 50. And then that should be it. That should be it. We can also set the user, which will be models.foreign key pointing to user, and then on delete go models.cascade, and then let's give a related name also so that we can just easily call it on that one, and then we'll call it session. So that will be the related name. We also need the time that the session was created. So created, that should be models.datetime field. So datetime field. And then in here we can say auto now add should be true so that we get the timestamp when it was created. Okay, that should be all for the model. So let's define the string representation. So str, and we want to return in an f string, say session, and then the name of the session, so self.title. Okay, that looks good. The next model that we'll build is the chat model. So that will be class chat. Also inheriting from models.model. And that one, there will also be ID, which is UUID. So I can just copy this one and paste it in there. There's also the primary key, so that is also okay. There should be the created field also, so that one too, let me paste it in here. And then now we link to the session. So session equal to models dot foreign key. Okay. And then this one will link to session. On delete is models dot cascade. And then this one's related name will be it will also be session. So session. Let's set blank equal to true. I will tell you why I set the blank equal to true when we get to that part where it is relevant. So, and then null also to be true for now. And let's now get a message, which is the user's message that they send to the bot. So message equal to models.text field. And then the response, which is the bot's response. So response also equal to models.text field. Okay, that also should be all for our chat. So we can define the string representation also, str, and then we want to return self.message. Okay, so that will be the message. And then inside our admin.py file, let's register so that we can go from .models. We want to import session. We also want to import chat. And then admin.site.register. We want to register session. We also want to register chat. Okay, so let's come back. Let's wait for it to reload and break out of it. Make our migration. So Python manage.py make migrations. Okay, so those ones have been created, and then Python manage.py migrate. Okay, so now let's create a super user. So Python manage.py create super user. It's asking for the name, code base, the email, code base at mail.me, obviously a very wrong email, and then let me type in my password. Super user is created successfully. So let us now run our server again. And then go into our admin area and see. So /admin. Not admin. Okay. So it requires us to log in. Let me log in, and then for now, let me close out of this site. So you see that our sessions and our chats, they have been created. So what we want to do, come back to chatbot. Oh, chatbot. Okay. What we'll be doing is that we'll try and save some few chats and then see how it goes. So let's come back inside our views.py file, and then At the top here, let's create a function that will give us UUID. So we'll just call it generate. We need it to create the chat model. So generate underscore UUID. That one will not take in any request because it's not specific to the Django. It's just an ordinary function that we are writing. So return a string of UUID UID.UUID 4. Have we not? Okay, we have not imported that one here. So import UUID. Okay, so UUID 4. Let's call it. So this one will generate a UUID for us anytime we call it. Now this is the whole idea of the session and the chat. Let me explain it. Before we be able to save the session, we have to get all the chats that have gone on inside this space. So hello, and then let me say, how are you? If you want to save this chat, we have to get all these individual chats, both from the user and from the bot, before we can save it into the session. But if we want to do it at every time that the user submits a message, then it will be difficult to keep track of it. You cannot put so many chats in one session. It will be difficult. So how I came up with the idea of getting all the chats here and saving it in one session is this: that when the user clicks the post, the chat will be created both for the chat will be created, so the message and the response will be created as one chat. And then we will not save it in the database, we will store it in a Python list. And so it is only when the user clicks the save chat that we create a new session and then save all those chats in that new session. So enough of the talking, let me go ahead and do the implementation. We will need two lists at the top here. So session underscore titles, which is an empty list. We need another one too called chats, which is also an empty list. And now this is what we have to do. Let's call another function save chat. So df save chat, but this one will take in the request, and then we will create a new session. So session, we have to now import our session, so our model, so equal to session, but I think we can import it from here, from chat.models import session. Yes, that's true. And then we will say the ID equals generate UUID. Remember the function we created at the top there. And then we can say that the title also, title, okay, equals to session titles, and let's just access the first element in there. I'll explain why. And then there is also the user, which should be equal to request.user. Going forward, we will put a login required on it, or we can even put it on it, so that if the user is not logged in, there's no way they can access this page, so that at any time this one will not throw an error. So after we get it like this, now we can save the session outside of it. So session.save. And when we save the session, what we want to do is, for now, let me come back here, and then the get chatbot response. Before we submit the JSON response, we have to save the chat first. So the chat should be equal to chat, not chatbot. Chat, that's a new chat. Let's import that one also. So this chat to the ID will be equal to generate UUID. And also the message will be equal to user message. Again, the response will be equal to chatbot response. Okay. And then anytime that we get the user message, we want to have to append it to sessions.title so that we can get it. So sessions.title.append user message. Okay. Now our chat has been created, but we will not save the chat as I said in the beginning. What we do is that chats.append, and I want to append this chat that we have created. Okay. And then when we are saving the session, when the user clicks on save, what we will do after saving the session is that for chat, or let me say for chat in chat, that's the chat app there. Chat session, chat dot session now equal to session, and then we can call the chat dot save on the individual chat, so chat dot save. And then afterwards, when we are done with the loop, we can clear the chat, so chat.clear, and then the session titles too, I think we have to clear it, so .clear. So this is the whole logic. Those chats that will not now be saving, but we are appending to the chat list up here. Each of them should belong to that particular session if you want to save the session. So after saving the session, then for chat in chat, every chat session you go to this session, then chat.save. And that is the reason I said the blank is true, because initially when we are creating the session, the chat here, we don't include the session as part of it. It's only when we are saving the chat or saving the session that we will get all the chats that belong to that particular session. I just hope I've not confused anybody. I think it should be simple and straightforward. But if you have a question, leave it down in the description below and I'll answer you. Okay, so after this one, we just have to return redirect to the dashboard. So return redirect not the dashboard to chatbot. So the URL called chatbot. Okay, so let's now import this redirect. So from Django.shortcut. Okay. So all things equal, I think we can now try this one and see. But in that case, you have to also declare the URL for the save chat. So that will be save_chat. It will point to save chat also. And then here the name too should be save chat. So inside our index.html, where we see the save should be here. We just pass in the appropriate URL. So URL, and the name of the URL is save chat. I think it's save_chat. Let me confirm. Yes, save_chat. So let me refresh it. I save it. Refresh this page. And then this edge allows me to split screen. So I'll split screen here. And then open up my admin. I already stored it in bookmark. So now I'm logged in. So let's just ask a few questions. So hello, how are you? Okay, so now it has been saved. Let me click on save chat. And then it looks like it is gone by. Let me come to the admin and then refresh. Go to sessions. Is that session hello have been created because it's got the name from the first chat that I got. And then if I come back here to chat, you see that all these chats are here. They all have their session linked. So they are all linked to, this one is linked to session hello. If I come back, the next one also is linked to session hello. And that is the logic. So how we kind of hack around it, that is it. So all the chats will be there, but so each one will belong to a particular session. Okay, so that's one being done. I think what is left now for this chatbot area to fully work is to now get the actual response from OpenAI, not generate our own response. So back inside this place. And also let these two charts be here. I'll tell you when to delete it. We will need it, so that's why I have not deleted them. Just above this one, let's define a function that will generate the chatbot response. We'll generate chatbot response. Once again, this one is not related to the Django project, so we're not passing requests. So this is what we do. So we have to import OpenAI at the top. Okay. And then we set the key. So OpenAI.API key should be equal to an empty string for now. We'll go and get the key soon and put it there. And then we have to create a response. So response equal to OpenAI dot completion dot create. We want to create a completion, and then in here we will say that the prompt equal to message, the message that is coming. And also we have to pass in the engine that we want to use is the text DaVinci 002. There are lots of engines there. You can use whichever one that you want. We'll visit the documentation soon. And then the temperature, also let's make it 0.1. And then lastly, the maximum token, so max underscore tokens should be equal to 2040. Okay, this should do. And after we get a response, so we have to return response dot choices, and inside the choices we just have to access the first element dot text, and then let's strip it of all white spaces. Okay, so this one should do. So here let's first get our key before we change the response here. So you just have to log on to platform.openai.com, and then in here, if you first visit the documentation, you get to know these tokens that I'm talking about. You can read more about that one. But if you go to the API reference, which we will be interested in, you see the pip install OpenAI that we did. And then this is JavaScript. I think there should be the Python side. Go to completions. There's the Python. Okay, it is somewhere. Let me see completion. Okay. I don't want to stress prolong this video by just looking for that one, but what we have typed is actually correct, and so we can see the choices comes in. So this that comes in, so we access the choices here, the choices, where is it? And then inside the choices, the 0 elements, and then which it should be this one, then to give us the test, this is something then. So this is the test that we are getting. So that inside the choices we access, see that the choices itself is a list here, and so the first element there is the dictionary. So choices first element is a list, and inside the first element, which is the 0, which this one give the dictionary, and then the test here, you can see that is the key, the first key inside that first dictionary, which is the object, the first object inside the choices list. That is why we did it that way. So what we are interested in is now we come to this side, view API keys, where your avatar is. You should be logged in. And then I've created one before, so if you don't have one, you just have to click on this one. And then let's say the name is Django Chatbot underscore create secret key. I'll not cover up this key, so you will see it actually. But the truth is that you have to use your own key, because after this tutorial, I'll just delete that particular key, so you can't even use it. So this is it. The key, I'm not covering it up. I just want you to know how it's actually done. Now we have our key. Inside the generate chatbot response, what we'll be doing now is at this place, we will not, let me just comment out this line. And then the chatbot response, chatbot underscore response, now will be equal to generate chatbot response. We are calling this function here, and then we'll pass in the message. So the message now should be equal to user message. And that's as simple as that, and it should work. So let's refresh this and see. And let's say, how are you? Now this reply here is coming from the OpenAI. So the bot is the one giving us this. So let's just say, explain the theory of relativity. And then it will explain it for us. So let's just say that we want to save this chat. We can save it. So let's work on this functionality that will take us to the recent chat where we can see all our chats listed. But for now, I think I can close out of this side panel. And yes, so that one too, inside our urls.py file, we declare a new path. That one should go to chats or something like that. Let's call it history. So history, and then we have to use the username. So we pass in string and then the username. Okay, so let's quickly create this view because it will throw an error even. So let's define history request as always, and then let's return for now render request, and then the name of the template is chats.html. So chats.html. Okay, and then inside our, we shouldn't have closed that index. In the model we don't need it, but we need the index where they say recent chats. Where is it? There should be, yes, this one. There should be a URL that goes to history, but it takes one more argument, so we just say user.username, and which I also forgot to pass here, so it should be username. Okay, but inside our chat, that we have to now configure this what do you call it, static files correctly. So let's just copy this one and then paste it here. I think there's a place where we needed the bot image also, so let's just configure that one too correctly. That should be all. Yes. So now when we come to the home page, refresh it, recent chat, it will take us to this recent chat page with this ones that I had coded from Django. So let's go back to the chat page and then also declare the reverse URL here. Where's that one? Where you see home here. So this index.html should be a URL that leads to chatbot. Okay. Fresh. Now when we click here, we come back, we click here, we come here. So we just have to delete these ones from here and then load the chart from our database. So scroll down to, I think it's in this place. Okay, this is the mother div. So where you see session stripe, collapse all the divs under it, delete all of them until you just have one over there. Okay, let's save it and confirm. Okay, now we have only one here. And so inside the view that comes to this chart page, so the history view, we have to get our session. So sessions equal to session dot objects dot all. And then we have to just pass in as a context dictionary. So here will be sessions going to sessions. Okay, not session title, sessions here. Okay. Now back inside chat, all we have to do is to declare a for loop. So for session in sessions, and then let's end for here. Okay, all that we have to do here is to replace with a session.title. Session.title, and that should do. Okay, one more thing. This whole thing is an href here. We have not yet declared that URL, so let's work on this one and see. Okay, for statement should use the format for X and Y. Session, oh okay, I forgot I didn't type the in well, sorry. And now you see that all our sessions have been loaded here. So now let's work on the function that will load this to the chat page and then together with all the charts that were inside. So back inside our views.py file, we will create another function called load chart. I think it should come before history. It can be after it, no problem. So define load chart, pass in request. Okay. And then it will take one more thing. So because before you load the chart, we need a session ID. So session underscore ID. And then we say session equal to session.object.get. And then ID should be equal to session. Why did it keep on session title? Session ID. Okay. And then we also want to now clear the session titles because so that the user can now save the new loaded chart. If you continue it and then get other information, you can now also save it to the new session title and not the previous one. So the session title dot clear, we want to clear those ones, and then now append again. So session title dot append session dot title, so that it will clear it and then append the new session title, so that if you finish and then you are saving, if you finish and you are saving, it will save the charts to that old session. I don't know whether I've explained myself well. This session will bring us all the charts in it, and then when we clear the session titles list up there, and then now append this session's title to it, what will happen when we click save again for that session is that it will now have the old charts and then the new one that we added to be added to the same session, so that if, for instance, I come to the home page now, I add some sessions, some chart to this one. When I click on save again to save it to that same session, so that when I load it, this old and new messages will all be there. Just some very smart features that we are adding to our chatbot. Okay, so now we can get the user chat. So user chat, the sessions, they just help us to link the chat. So user chat equal to chat dot objects dot filter. We want to filter it where the session equal to session. Okay, so that will give us all the chats that is in the user. And yes, okay, so we can return render to the home page. So return render, not return again, so return render, not redirect, render. Okay, request, and then we want to render the index.html again, and then now pass in this context dictionary of first have the chat to be user chat, because that's what we need. So user chat. Okay, and then one more thing here called load, which will be true. And I'll tell you why we are using the load very soon. So now inside chat here, index.html, that's where we are rendering to. You see that I made you leave the chat here. Where is it? The user chat and then the bot chat. Okay. Where is it? No, this is not the chat container. Yes, the chat container is here. So the AI message and I think the user message should come first. It makes sense. So let's see. The user message should come first. Now, this is what we do. So if load, that means if we are loading the chat, then we want to do this. So let me quickly collapse this, then end if here. If you are loading the chat, then this is what should happen. And if load, then that means the load will also come with its own chat. So you can say for chat in user chats, and let's end for here. This one will be end for. So for chat, if there's the load, that means if you are loading, so if this one is true, then we are loading. The default homepage that renders this chatbot, where is it? Here doesn't have the load, so that part of the code there, that HTML will not show. So for chat in chat, this is the user message, so that will be chat dot message. But that's the one from the user. And then you can come to the bot's own and say chat dot response. Okay. Preacher tries to format this thing for me. Let me just I think this place too, so that it's more readable. Okay. So let's now work on the function. I think we have not called the URL yet. So let's create the URL to load the chat. You can just say load, and then this one will not be username, to be session underscore ID. Here, I think we called it load chat. Okay, so this one should do. And now inside chat.html, let's pass in the URL here. So where we are passing the session title, we just have to pass the URL and say we called it load, and then we get the session .id. Okay, so that should work. If you go to recent chats and we click on how are you, Okay, let's check the hello. Okay, that one too did not work. What can be the possible issue? Okay, now let's create a new chat and then save it and see. So, hey, okay, this response, how are you? Okay, and now let me save this chat. Go to recent chats and then, and I don't know which one it is, but if it's this one, recent chat, this one, okay, then it's probably something that we are not doing right. Let's implement the functionality to delete the chat and then let's the sessions and let's create new ones and see. So define delete session and that one too we need a session ID. Then session it's just the same thing here. And just copy it, speed things up, and then we just click on session.delete. Okay, then return redirect. We want to redirect to the history. And then this one we have to pass in request dot user dot username. Okay, so inside chat here where there's the delete, that's over here. So you can just go and paste it in here, and then we'll just say delete underscore session like that. So let's go ahead and then create this URL here. This one will be delete. Okay, how do we call it? Delete session. This one will be delete session. Okay, now this one should work. Let's delete, come back to the home page. What is 1 plus 1? Save chat, come back. I still don't understand why this thing is not really rendering. Okay, I think I know why. I'm very sorry that had to happen. See this one, we say user chats, but that is not the name of the key here. The name of the key is chat, so let's just fix it. So for chat in chat and see. Now let's refresh. Have we saved this chat yet? What is 1 plus 1? Now it's close to 2. So let me say, what about square root of -1? Did I not spell the square correctly? Square root of -1. So there's no real root, but there's an imaginary square root of -1. So let me save this chat again and then load it. Okay, because I think the session, the reason why I think it did not load, you see that it did not save those previous ones, is because inside our views.py file, when we load the chat, the way we save the chat is only when they are appended to the chats list. So if you want that functionality to occur where we can save the previous chats together with the current chat, then we can, after loading it, so for chat in user chat, you have to now append it to the chat list up there. So chat, not chats dot append chat, so that it will also append it there. Then if anytime that we want to, we can get access to it. Let me just refresh and come back to not load but chatbot to get a new one. What is maybe explain? I'm just not getting anything to ask you. So what is maybe machine learning? And then it gives it to me. I'll say, what about deep learning? Okay, and then it gives it to me. So if I save this chat now, go into recent. Why is this still saying? Okay, it's added it to the 1+1. But let's just add follow-up questions and see. So give me a suggestion for breakfast. Okay, and then let me save chats. Go to recent chats. I think it should be the most previous one. Now you see that the give me a suggestion for breakfast is also added to the old one, to this ones. But I think it is having a problem because it is saving them with the same session name because we are appending it there. How to get around that one? Let me leave it to you. Let me leave that one to you. But when you load it, you see that the old chat, if you add a new one like we saw, what about lunch? I don't know. What do you want? Okay, fine. And so if I save this chat now, also go to recent chat, that should be the one here. See that what about lunch has been added. So this is it. This is so great. We can keep track of all our chats. Just come and open it and then continue chatting with it, just like you do in ChatGPT. Just that you just have a small glitch here to fix on how to get this one to be. Maybe you can add an updated field to the sessions model.py here. An updated field which will now be equal to true, so that instead of just rendering the session.title here inside the chat, you can render session.title, and in place of session.created, maybe use the updated field to keep track of the session title or something like that. But I will not do it in this video. So now you see that this one gives me a more clear description on when the chat was created. Okay, so now all these things are working. I think we are done with our chatbot page. Let's work on the authentication and user registration. So inside here, close out of models. We need a chat because we copy the thing from there. So up here is where we declare all of them before the chatbot comes. So let's define home. Request as always. And then this is what we'll render there. So the home page is like our login page. So if request dot user dot is underscore authenticated, if request, if the user is already authenticated and is trying to access the login page, I don't know why the user would do that, but some people may do it. So you just have to redirect to chatbot, because you're already logged in. What are you doing at the login page? Other than that, then we want to get a password. So if request dot method equal to post, Then username equal to request dot post dot get username name, and then the password should also be request dot post dot get. Where is it? Okay, password. Okay, so after getting the username and password, let's come up here and then from django.contrib.auth we want to import login, logout, and then authenticate. Because of this that we are importing, we cannot name any of our views login or logout. And so here is we want to say user equal to authenticate, then passing request, username equal to username, and then password equals password. And if user is not none, then we want to log in the user. So login request and then user, and then redirect the user to the chatbot, so the bot page, so chatbot. Okay. So now that is it. We are not doing any error checking, error handling. You can implement that one in, but we assume here that the user will type correctly. If they don't type correctly, the page will keep on reloading. So, yeah. Now we can return render and then request. Here will be login dot.html. Okay, so let's just see our template here, and then remember we have to give this static. Okay, so let's paste it here, and then that is all. So now what I'll do is come to views.py, or where I am now. Okay, and inside chatbots, let's restrict it to only registered users or users who are logged in. Sorry, so that one will be from django.contrib.auth.decorators. We want to import login required. So we can now pass this decorator on this. So at login required, and then the login URL is I think it should be home. You call it home. So yeah, home. But I don't think we have created that that URL yet. Okay, we haven't. So the URL that leads to the home page, that should actually be the login page. So that will be home, and then the name here also should be home. Okay. Let's see. So now let me come back and then clear my browser history. Yes, that will automatically log me out. Oh, clear. Okay, I think it has cleared me out. So let me now try and access chatbot and see chatbot. See that it brings me back to the login page where I have to log in. So let's just say I will log in as a wrong user. Okay, CSRF token. Police has caught us. So we have to now, after the form, just give a CSRF underscore token. But before we proceed, I think there are lots of other views that need the login required, the creator, because if you want to load chat here, you have to also be logged in. Delete, I think we can even put it on all of them, so that even if the user types in the URL manually in the address bar, they will not have access to it. So a save chat to let all of them have it, because we only want to restrict it to users who are logged in. Get response. Let's leave that one. Get response, let's leave it. Okay, so now let me come back. Try stubbornly again to access chatbot and see. Now, if I log in as code base, now you see that it comes in here. So inside index.html, instead of hard coding my name here, you can just say hello. This one will be user.username. Okay, I think it's the same one at chat also. Let's see your recent chat. Okay, yes, that one is there. So replace my name with user.username, and then let's refresh, and then hello code base. But I think there's no way for us to log out, which is not very good. So inside index.html, where you see the username here is hi, let's just add the, so after this span, add an a tag. The href should be URL logout. We will create it very soon. So URL and then logout. Let's save it. But inside here, you can just say logout. Let's give it some class. So class text yellow, just like this one. It's also be font medium. Yep. So that should do. Not so many styling here. So why is it not? Oh, okay. We are putting inside chat, but I think that place too may need it. Yeah. So let's just see how it looks like there. So okay, logout is not found. Let's quickly, but before I do that, let me copy it inside index.html where my name is also not login index.html. Yes, here after this span here, paste it here also so that we can get it here. Okay, this error was sure to come. I anticipated it. So let's define the logout, which I told you we cannot call it logout, so we can just say user underscore logout. Django will agree with that one. So request, and then that is one of the simplest functions to write in Django. We just say logout, and then we just pass in request. That is it. And then we can return redirect the user to the home page. So return redirect the user back to the home page so that they can sign in again. Okay. Now we shouldn't be having this error. Continue. Why is it saying CSRF? Okay. The view. We just created the view, but not the URL. We have to add the URL also. This one will be logout, and here will be user logout. Okay. It should be good to go. So let me come to the home page. Okay, now chatbot is in. So I can click on this logout, then I log out. I can log in again. But I think we can still beautify it a little. Inside index.html, before the logout itself comes, where the span ends, I can put this space and then a pipe just to separate the two. So the same at this place too, then separate them. Okay, so that it will be separated like this. So yes, what we are left with is the user registration. Let's do that one also quickly. So that one too will be register.html. Let's just, before we even begin, copy and then paste it here like this. Oh, but sorry, I didn't talk about the login.html file. It's just has the username here. So you know the Django gets by name, so we just get the username by name and the password also. Then that was it. And inside the register too, we are getting the username, we are getting the first name, we are getting the last name, we are also getting the email, the password 1, and then the password 2. That's the repetition of the password, and then we register the user. Okay, but in here, I think inside login, we have not linked inside for the register and then the. So we can just say, let me copy that one from the finished one and then come and paste it just to save time. So over here is a p tag that says, are you a new member? Then register. And then inside register, you can say already a member, then login. Once again, you see the link to the source code will be there, so you can just copy this one, or you can just also pause the video now and then type it out. It's not just it's not many. So here will be login, of register. And then let's create this register URL before. So here will be register. Instead of user register, I'll just use register. Yes, or register user rather. That one will be better. So register user. We don't have this view, so let's go ahead and create it. Pass in request. Okay, so this is how we will do it. Once again, if the user is authenticated, I don't know why the user will be coming there. So if the user is authenticated, just redirect the user back to the chatbot page. Other than that, I think it should be similar to this. And just copy it. Now username is request.post.get username, password. Let's duplicate it for first name. So first underscore name, and then we can do so also for the last name. So last underscore name. We can also do it for the email. So email. And what is it that we have not gotten? The passwords, there are 2. So password 1 and then password 2. So you can just say password 2. Yes. And we are only able to get them here by this because inside the register, there's a name for each of them that links to what we have typed here. Django gets it by name. I think we have gotten everything that we need. The username, password, first name, last name, yes. So now if password is equal to password 2, then user equal to user, have we imported it? I don't think so. So let's come up here and then from django.contrib.auth.models, let's import user. Okay, so user.object.create user, not create user, and then we can pass it in here like username equal to username, no username, and then the password equal to password. Okay, and then we can come down and say user dot first name equal to first name also, so first name, and then user dot last name equal to last name. We can also say user dot email equal to email, and at last we can save the user, so user dot save. Okay, and after we save the user, we want to log in the user, so login request, and then user, and once again return the user to the home page, so the chatbot page. So return redirect to chatbots. Okay, so other than that, so if the request is not equal to post here, then else we want to return render. That means the user just went to the page, so return render, and then request register .html. Okay, and then at last we have to also return render this. No, one indentation inside. Okay, that should do. Let me log out. It's a new member, register. So login is not a valid view function. Inside where? Okay, inside the register.html, I think the thing is rather home. Yes. So, okay, now it allows me. So in here, it allows me, let me just create a new user, pmails, who is Paul. Mails generated randomly, any resemblance to actual person is a pure coincidence. So Paul at mails, no, Paul mails at mail.me. I have password store for all of them. So here I'll show save password. Go and copy that one. If you have been following my tutorials, you know that these three users are my users on all my Django projects. So register, CSRF token as quotas. And so the form. By the way, this channel features a lot of project-based playlists. You can scroll through and check whether you are a beginner or intermediate. There are lots of projects for you to work on. And so CSRF underscore token. Okay. Continue. Let's come back to the home page. Go to register again. Females. Paul. Then register. So is that you say hello, hi, females. Can you draft an online meeting plan for me? Okay, then draft an online meeting plan for me the agenda is, and then let me give it to the role of intelligent systems in modern industry. Okay, that's right. Introduction letter in this one and blah blah blah. Let's say that Paul wants to save his chat. Just save to recent chat, and then I think there's a bug we have to fix here. This one is for code base, not for Paul. So Paul shouldn't even be seeing it in the first place. So let's go inside our views, and then where we are loading the charts. Where we are loading the charts. Okay, sessions, so sessions.object.id, and then here we can say user. Did we call the? Let's see the name we give it to. We gave to it in the models for the charts. I think that should be in the session. That should be in the session. Yeah. So inside the session, we can also say where the user equal to request.user. Okay. Now let's come back here. Recent chat. Refresh. No, it's not this one. We shouldn't do it here. It should be where we are rendering the recent chat. Which view is that? I think that's the history. Okay, we actually passed in the username, but we didn't use it, and that's not good. So session where user equal to user equal to request.user. Okay, username, because the Django username field is already unique. So request.user.username. Okay, so this one should do. Let's come back, reload. It says got unexpected argument username. Okay, let's come back to our URLs. That is where so we are looking at the history. It's username. Why is it throwing an error? Okay, this should be filter rather. Let's see. Self-field error. Cannot resolve keyword username into field. Okay. This is user equal to, and then here you can now refresh again. Expected ID but got females at which point? I think because it's also expecting this username, so let's just put in here. Let's just say user equal to user dot objects dot get, and then here the username will be equal to username, and then here we can say where the user equal to user. I think this should fix it for us. Okay, it's fixed it for us. So now you see that it's only this one for Paul that we see, and that is quite fair. So I have realized that after we load the chart, so for instance, if we load this chart, whatever we type in here will be, and when we save it, it will be added to this chart. But what if we want to create a new chart that will not be saved into this particular chart that has been loaded? So if you see the URL, it says load, and that one. So I think we have to get a functionality to create a new chart. So let us work on that one quickly. Inside the index.html, let's just put an anchor tag there. Probably after the logout, we can do that. Yes. So another anchor tag. This one I did not include it in the initial build of the UI, but we need it. So yes, but this one text should be text white. Oh no, the text should be rather blue. There's this blue color up here. You can come and copy this, and then where is it? Text, and then it should be this color. But the background should be white. Padding of 3 or 2 should do, and this one should lead to new chat. Okay, and then the URL should be new chat. We'll create it very soon. Okay, but now we cannot reload, because if we reload, we get an error. Let's come to our urls.py and then create a new chat. Okay. Let's see. Inside the index, yes, it's called new chat. So let's save it. And then inside views, let's just come down here. That one to have a login required. So you can copy this and paste it here. So new chat, new underscore chat. Okay, this one will not take in the username whatsoever. And we don't need this one also. But we need to clear the sessions list. So sessions list, session titles dot clear. We also have to clear the chat list. So chats dot clear. Okay. We will not render this. And then we are also rendering to the home page. So that will be the chatbot. So that will be index.html. Yes. So that is it. Or even we can even just make it return redirect with chatbot. Simple as that. So return redirect to chatbot. Okay. So that one should do. And so let's come back. Now we are still in the load. Let's refresh. You will see new chat here. When we click on it, it creates a new chat for us. And then the things that we save will be completely independent of the other one. So what are solar storms? And then it says solar storm is a disturbance in the Earth's magnetosphere. Blah blah. When I save this now, I go to recent chart to see what are solar storms was created, and then it was not saved inside the old one. So that is it that we can do. I think we can style the borders of the new chat button small. So where is it? You can see rounded MD, and then reload. Okay. I should have given a space between the rounded MD and the BG white. So now reload, and then now it has some rounded effects like that. So we can save, and then when we load the chart and we don't want to save we don't want to continue the chart, but we want to start a new chart, you can easily click on this new chart, and then it will save the work for us. Yes, so that brings us to the end of creating this our interactive chatbot. And as I said, this UI was built completely by myself with Tailwind CSS. So let me know in the comment section What are your thoughts on this? And if you like it, be sure to give a thumbs up. If you have a question, post it in the comments, and I'll come back and answer you. Thank you very much for getting up to this time. The source code also is in the description below. And consider subscribing also if you are new. Thank you, and I'll see you another time with another interesting project. Bye for now.